Hello and welcome back to the Casual Fanatic. Today we continue with the series of the three key men. Today's team, Tottenham Hotspur. I'm excited to talk about this team because there's a lot to address. It's not an easy team to cover because realistically, there's so many little intricacies and things that go on at Tottenham where it's hard to really understand why have they not won anything. Like I understand, hey, there are other teams that are better suited with more cash, better players, and all that, but you still win something at some point. You still get to cup finals. Like I've never seen as spiritless and hopeless team as Tottenham were in the Champions League final against Liverpool. They just gave up. They conceded and they gave up. And with Tottenham, it feels more like a systematic cultural thing that's in place that they get to a certain level and then they just drop back down. They get to a certain level and they just don't push on from there. But right now, they're in such a situation where, as I am going to address with my most important player, which is obvious, there's no surprise here, Harry Kane. Harry Kane's about to break their all-time top scorer record. He's tied right now with Jimmy Greaves. He's about to break the English goal scoring record. He's one of the all-time strikers and one of the best strikers of a generation. Harry Kane is now being linked with a move away. Again, summer after summer, Harry Kane gets linked with a move away so that he can win. And it's almost people feel bad for him. People feel like, hey, he should win. But he loves the team. And he's dedicated so much of his career to this team, almost his entire prime. And they won't reward him with a proper, fully suited team under the tutelage of a manager that's allowed to implement his philosophy and his techniques. Son has been a great Robin to his Batman for all these years and even won a golden boot. They have the most combined goals between them or whatever, the interlinking pass to each other. And that's great. But where's the winning? Where's the pushing on? Where's the trying to win trophies? I think they have a solid base, which goes into their most promising player, which I think is a split in my head where it was because I realized how young Christian Romero is. But of course, the cornerstone of their next team has to be Kulusevski and his creative ability and his ability to create and his playmaking and his ability to score goals and to find angles. And he can be someone that they can build on. They are, of course, going to need other talents and other players around them and synthesize a proper squad. Romero, I think, is going to be crucial because he's a young centre-back. There aren't a lot of elite centre-backs right now around at that kind of age group. There are a lot of younger ones emerging and I was like torn between selecting one of them to recommend as my signing because it's pretty clear. Tottenham's problem is the ball progression from the back. There's no centre-back to make progress passes, to complete passes. There's no ball-playing centre-backs. Eric Dyer is just not at the level. Ben Davies is a left-back, a mediocre left-back, converted into a bad centre-back in a three. I think that's something they need to address. Both of those are not good enough, not at the standard. They are going to have to probably sign two centre-backs. I think it's going to be tough to sign them two in one window, and especially at a higher price tag. So my suggestion would be to go for someone younger, someone more inexperienced, and then put him next to my recommended signing. But first, going into what Tottenham need. Tottenham are a team that right now are playing in an Antonio Conte system that they're not going to be playing in next season. So next season, now you got to reconfigure the team under new manager with a new idea. Firstly, if Kane's part of those plans, which for all Tottenham fans, you better hope he is because he's irreplaceable. The best striker in the world, arguably, cannot just be replaced. Son, if you choose to stick with him this season going forward, because it's going to be pretty hard to replace him, if you can get the right out of him, you know this is one of the top wingers in the world. Kulusevski is a great piece to build around. Bentancur is showing a lot of potential. Højbjerg in the right system can be good. Bissouma has shown in the right system in Brighton he can have value. And there's the reason why a lot of teams were after him in terms of United and Chelsea and Tottenham got him for a big price tag. These are pieces that you can build around. They don't have the squad depth. They don't have as much in the team to go into and to really adjust. It is going to require signings. It is going to need the reinforcements from outside. But they do have a solid base. Lloris is going to have to go. They're probably going to have to invest in some proper fullbacks rather than these halfbacks, like the wingbacks in Emerson Royale and Perisic and Sessegnon. None of them are really at the level, especially not defensively, to play as a fullback. They don't fit into any system. They aren't the best ball players. they have certain qualities down the channels where they can deliver a ball and they can help overload areas and they have decent physicality. But that's not good enough for a fullback, especially not if you're going to switch into playing a back four. Just try and maximize that middle three. If you do that, Romero's definitely in there. But you're going to need someone who's going to counteract Romero's aggressiveness and he's always ready to jump on the first ball. He's constantly contesting duels, which end up sometimes needing cover. And that's why you need a concentrated, experienced centre back that's going to partner him well, someone who's composed on the ball. And that's why my recommended signing for Tottenham is Milan Skriniar. Milan Skriniar, it's right now with Inter, it seems like even since the summer he's been wanting to leave. There's talks right now that they're not going to renew his contract, which means he will be leaving Inter this summer, maybe even in January, if they're willing to jump at it that fast. And I think that would be a great signing. He's in the 94 percentile for passes completed, averaging 91% pass accuracy, which is immense for a centre back. He's also playing in a system where he receives a lot of progressive balls, but that's because Brozovic usually drops deep to playing between them. And if you're playing in a three, that could work, where he might become your left-sided centre back in the three, right-sided in Rivera, and then the third one is the one who becomes a ball player. You have to sign another one, of course. But fundamentally, there's a lot to like about him. I think there's potential there. I think he's at a good age at 27. There's still time. He does struggle a little bit in the aerial duels department. He loses a lot of his aerial duels, which isn't a great sign for the Premier League. But having maybe a Romero, having another centre back next to him, maybe that can also compete. Having maybe the physicality of Perisic playing next to him. That's a taller guy to be able to put next to him. Also, Tottenham integrating, they've signed him for a reason. Jed Spence. That's your right back there. There must be something that Antonio Conte is not liking about him. Maybe he isn't as good enough going forward to play the wing-back system. Something doesn't fit. But with a new system in charge, a new manager, Jed Spence could be a very, really, really, really good option. I think Milan Skriniar, great signing to go along with Tottenham. I think they need a lot more to build on as well. A keeper, couple of centre-backs is going to be crucial, as well as some squad depth. But those are my three key men for Tottenham Hotspur going forward.